every 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid can understand these things. All right, because I got two bars, there's two moving averages. When the two moving averages are close, there's two states, narrow and wide. When the two moving averages are close, I'm in a narrow state. When the two moving averages are wide apart, I'm in a wide state. My best trades are going to come from wide or narrow. And then I got to determine which color do I have above the state or below the state. Boom. Now we just wrap money management and some other and profit-taking rules to the game. Money management, protection, just in case it doesn't work. And we go over some profit-taking rules when you taste some of the games. And that's how they start their entire trading career at becoming what I always consider a master, the 20-minute trading master, where you need 20 minutes, you need maximum 20 minutes to make your living in this game. Doesn't take all day. We start our kids off learning about the twos, right? And I want to just quickly go over this so I can show you how some of the trades buy out my trading kids, but based on these concepts. So let me give you quickly these concepts. It's called the power of twos, right? So in a sense, right, there's only two colors in the market. There's green and there is red. Two colors, green and red. There's two moving averages that we teach our traders to focus on. The 20-period moving average, we teach them how to use this, and the 200-period moving average. So see, two colors, two moving averages. Then we teach them this concept of state. So we teach them a concept of state, where markets vacillate between a narrow state and a wide state. This is the narrow state of a market and the wide state of a market. If we go back, so there's two main states, narrow and wide. Two moving averages, 20 and 200. Two colors, green and red. We're teaching them the power of twos. Now, what's a narrow state with the 20 and the 200? Well, this is narrow, and this would be wide. When your 20 leaves the 200, and that would be wide. Two bars, two types of bars, red and green, two moving averages, 20, 200, two states, narrow, wide. Their best trades are going to come from wide or narrow. Their best trades are going to come from wide or narrow. Okay? Now, we teach them two major positions based on the state. We teach them above and below. If this is my state, let's say that's narrow state, I can be above the narrow state or I can be below the narrow state. So if you think about this, we got two bars, red and green and red. We have two moving averages, 20 and 200. We have two states, narrow and wide. We have two positions, above and below. So let's go over this. What if you get a green bar in a narrow state above a narrow state, like that? What are the odds? So think about it. Here is the narrow state. Let's draw it again. Here's the narrow state. That's the 20-period moving average. Here's the 200-period moving average, right? Green bar above the narrow state. Now we would teach the children, our trading kids, what's the highest probability in terms of direction right above a narrow state with a green bar. The probability is much higher this way than this way. It's not impossible for it to go down, but it's higher probability going up. If you have this instead, red bar under the narrow state, you have higher probability of declining. It's not impossible for it to go up, but the probability, at the end of the day, a good trader just knows what will happen 7, 8 times out of every 10, and this is what will happen. And it just becomes a probability game, a mathematical game. Every time I do this 10 times, I win 7, 8 times, I lose 1 to 3 times. And it's the power of twos. This is not complex stuff, guys, but it's taught where every 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid can understand these things. All right, because I got 2 bars, there's 2 moving averages. When the 2 moving averages are close, there's 2 states, narrow and wide. When the 2 moving averages are close, I'm in a narrow state. When the 2 moving averages are wide apart, I'm in a wide state. My best trades are going to come from wide or narrow. And then I got to determine which color do I have above the state or below the state. Boom. Now we just wrap money management and some other and profit-taking rules to the game. Money management, protection, just in case it doesn't work. And we go over some profit-taking rules when you taste some of the games. And that's how they start their entire trading career at becoming what I always consider a master, the 20-minute trading master, where you need 20 minutes, you need maximum 20 minutes to make your living in this game. Doesn't take all day. You can do it all day if you love it like that, but you don't need to, all right? And all it takes is the power of twos, guys. The power of twos. If your kids do this from any of the ages 10 to 15, if they do this until they're 21, they stay with it, OMG, they are going to rule. There will be no other child in their university or wherever they are that will have their capability, that will have their independence, that will have their income producing ability that will make them free. There will be very few people in their lives they come in contact with that ability. Now that I've covered the twos that we teach them, right? The power of the twos. I want to show you these are the trades from my trading kids, guys. Look at how they're applying the power of twos. Check this out. This is a little special one, but this guy here, this little fella, I had a quick $123 on this trade. Not bad for whatever age he is, but I want to show you some specific things, like take a look at this trade from one of the kids, all right? A $276 gain on this, but look at this is what some adults in some country work a week for, but they did it in minutes, right? Take a look at, I want you to look at the blue and the red, and you tell me, notice how it's wide here, but here it's narrow or narrower, right? So we've got a narrow state here. Look at where the trade is taken. Boom. So they enter right there. They take a little taste. That's profit taking, the blue. Then they re-enter or add to the position here. This is a little early. This is a little early. I think the profit taking should have been down here, but they're tasting a little bit more here, and they're out of the trade entirely there. That is masterful trading. It's not exactly perfect. The only thing that I would have liked to see is this not taken so fast, but this is, if I could get adults doing this, boom, in, let's say they did 2 lots in, 1 lot out, put the 1 lot back on here, all right, 2 lots out, and then the final one out here. That is milking the cow like a freaking pro. That's crazy. Now, take a look at this trade in Starbucks. We also teach our children how to journal their trades. We want them journaling, guys. I learned this very young, that something magical happens when you take something from the ethereal world of thought and you give it physical reality by transferring it on a piece of paper or screen or whatever. And it now gains a physical life of its own and it looks back at you. There's something magical about that. We make sure that the kids are journaling their activity because the journaler is always smarter than the trader. And so I want them to have these two experiences. I want them to have the experience of doing the trade, but then having the secondary experience of looking at that trade, not as the trader, but as the journaler. And so in a sense, this way, they're gaining two experiences from one. One is the trader, one is the journaler. The journaler is always smarter because it's always after the fact. You always know more after something's happened than you know before something's happened. So they're responsible for looking or experiencing the trade from the trader's point of view and the journal's point of view. And that's what you see here. So you see that they are journaling. It's in Spanish, but they're telling you it's a 5-minute chart. This was the location. That's a symbol for our location, which is, this is where they got into the trade. Here's the state, narrow state, elephant bar play, confirmation. Oh, so that's not where they got in. They got in here. Confirmation entry here. That's where they entered. Their risk. Look at how responsible they are. They're saying, I can only lose 50 cents, which is $50, right? So because if it's a one lot, 50 cents is $50. So this kid who made $270 on this play was not willing to lose more than $50 on the play. And so that's how you become a master trader. His wins are 270 and up in that range, but his losses are less than 50 every single time. I love to see this, mapping out what he's doing. One lot, he's telling you how he used the 8-period moving average as his adjusted stop method, and so forth and so on. This is beautiful. This is beautiful play. Looks like they get out of the full position here, there. And so entry, add, out, and stop out. $270, this kid here. This is adult money, but we're talking minutes, guys, right? We're not talking all day. We're talking minutes here. Here's another $584. Look at the state. Look at how they know what they're doing, right? Narrow state, boom, elephant bar. What's the probability of fat green bar above a narrow state? It's up. All right. Coming out of, is it toma de beneficio? I love that. Boom. All right. Counting the pushes, push 1, push 2, push 3. Now earn the right to take a profit, to take a little taste. I just love to see this, guys. You have no idea how much I love this. These are little masters at work, marking the different stages of the trade. 1, 2. That's actually a little wrong, but that's okay. 3 and 4. This really should be 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. But still, look at where the trader gets out of the play, all the way over here, and gets into the play here. Very, very powerful. But it's not you can see, guys, that this is not guessing. right? They're not guessing. They're applying a specific method. You can see it in the actions that they know what they're buying. They know why they're buying. They know what the probabilities are, and they know I'm not going to lose more than this. Now, that's professional market activity. That's more than most of these idiot adults out there sloshing around losing their family's money in Facebook groups and stuff like that. It's powerful. This trading kit is playing the wide state. So remember I told you, here's the narrow state, here's the wide state, and wide state comes back to narrow state, right? Again, so this stock opens wide. And look how he's marking the positions. So this is the symbol for wide that we have, right? So he's going to play this to the downside, takes a short there. He says he goes into 2 lots. So he's taking 200 shares short. Boom. I'm sure his stop is here. He's adding here. So he did 2, added 1 there, took profits here, and took profits, it looks like, here. Okay, I would have loved to see him take some profits down there, though. But great, guys. They're getting it. They're getting it. This is very high level market activity. Mapping out the stages of the play. Look at the narrow state they're playing. Beautiful. Playing the narrow state. Mapping out the stages of the play to know how mature the play is becoming. Very, very powerful. Same thing here. Same takes the trade here. It looks like here. Takes the trade there. Adjusts protection stop here. Does he take any profits there? I see the profit taking here. But no, I would have liked to see some profit taking there. Maybe an ad there. But they're getting it. Juan Luis Gonzalez, his first great trade. I love it. It warms my heart, guys. It warms my heart. Beautiful. Same thing here, guys. Look at the narrow state. Look at how they're marking the box off. Fab 4 narrow state. Entry point here. Right off the narrow state, mapping out the phases of the trade. 1, 2, 3, target met, profit taking. This is beautiful. Boom. Protection. Gotta love it. Taking profits up here, grabbing this whole run there. Beautiful. Also showing here where they bought and where they sold. And so if you look at the times here, guys, this took 10 minutes. 10 minutes, hundreds of dollars done. For a kid, if you have kids in your life, a niece, nephew, cousins, whatever, your own kids, and they're between the ages of 10 and 15, I'm telling you, you should give them the gift of independence. This is the gift of independence.